All right, what's going on, y'all? I'm Blake,
I'm Cameron.
and we're here just to talk about our new podcast we're creating. Basically, we're just going to do sports analysis and stuff like that, stuff we're both really passionate about. Without further ado, you want to start us off?
Yeah, so we don't know what we're going to name it yet, obviously, but we're just working with a couple of things right now. Basically, the main focal points of this podcast are going to be the NFL and the NBA, but we'll probably branch out if it gets more seasonal with some sports.
Like I said, I think for sure hockey's going to be a big talking point because obviously my Golden Knights, you know what I'm saying? We got to bring them up, and they're doing pretty good right now. So we might talk about them later on, but we got a crazy day in the NFL for the divisional playoff, weekend we got going on. What was the first game? 49ers Vikings?
So actually, it's not in chronological order, but I have right here the Titans and Ravens game. And first off, let me start it off by saying, wow.
Our God King Ryan Tannehill.
I honestly slated the Ravens to destroy the Titans. You know, I thought the Titans being New England and Foxborough was impressive, but I didn't think they were going to have the juice to take on the Ravens in Baltimore, but wow. Okay, so...
Well, I mean, when you think about it, I don't think anybody pitted the Titans to go to the playoffs, in the resurgence from basically being possibly an 8-8 team to go into 11-7 now in the playoffs.
Well, it all started with, benching Mariota and slotting in Tannehill.
It sucks, but, you got to play to your strengths too, and, Derrick Henry had an outstanding performance.
Yeah.
And it all comes down to what they're good at. You're running the ball. And you have the best running back in the league right now, hands down. You can't deny that.
Yeah, well, actually, too, Derrick Henry has a perfect passer rating so far.
Yeah, he threw that touchdown.
Yeah,
I forgot about that.
I actually have the stats slated for this game right here. So, in the QB matchup, Tannehill threw for 88 yards and 2 touchdowns. And Lamar Jackson, most likely the MVP of the league, threw for 365 yards with 1 touchdown and 2 interceptions. Also rushed for over 100, right?
I wonder... Hold on. I'm trying to pull the stat right now because I did see that it was either around 40 to 50 actual attempts of passing from Lamar.
I believe it... I have it right here. It's 59 throws.
59? That's crazy. And, they lost 28-12.
I think I read a thing where the Ravens had consecutive plays where they got within 40 yards on the Tennessee territory, and for them to end up with 12. I have right here, Derrick Henry rushed for 195 yards. No rushing touchdowns, but he did throw a touchdown.
And also, I'm pretty sure Derrick Henry broke the NFL record for the 4 post games, I guess, as a running back for the most yards. He was 412 for the first 4 games that he's ever played in, or something like that. I saw it on when I was watching the actual broadcast. But this game I actually really was going to tune into because as a Steeler fan, I hate the Ravens, so gotta show homage there. But this is one of the ones I was really interested in because I did pick the Ravens going all the way, and it was a good game. I like Lamar Jackson, like what he can do. But dang, to go out like that, I just didn't expect it at all. It was kind of a shocker.
They weren't ready. But the question has to be asked, where do we go for both teams? I mean, the Ravens, I can't imagine there's going to be really any changes. I think it sucks that this year kind of fell flat.
I see that they're going to probably put some different key pieces in the O-line. Just add a little bit more protection for Lamar. Harbaugh's done a great job of creating that offense around Lamar, which was awesome. I see him getting the coach of the year. If he doesn't, it's going to be, obviously his brother down in San Francisco or Mike Tomlin maybe. He did have...
the Tennessee coach.
Yeah, it's an option.
Off, 2-4?
Yeah. I don't know. I can see a lot, but the Ravens, they have everything with it. They have everything they need. They're most likely going to hold the AFC North for a while. Like I said, the Steelers, they might take it from them. I hope so. I don't know. But the Titans, they go from here, they're going against the Chiefs. And preseason, They beat the Chiefs. Not preseason, sorry. Regular season, they beat the Chiefs.
It's so hard to put a dot on this team because you look at heading into playoffs, right? You think, okay, they're going against the Patriots in Foxborough. Like, it would take locking in and playing a good-ass game to really beat them at their place. It's the New England Patriots. And then they seize control of the game. Now, you can
make the argument that Tom Brady, he's aging, and
but even then, so okay, you take the New England one and you go, okay, they played good, good for them. I can't see them doing the same thing they did to New England to the Ravens, and they actually, correct me if I'm wrong, but isn't the point differential this week from last week better? Didn't the Titans win like 20-13?
I think so, yeah.
So if you think about it, New England put up more of a fight than Baltimore.
Yeah, it kind of looked like Baltimore just got stunned right out of the gate. I mean, I have the score breakdown. Titans scored 7 in the first, unanswered. In the second, they scored 7. Ravens scored 6. Then in the third, 14-0, unanswered. In the fourth, they didn't score any, but the Ravens scored 6. So, key moments they just really missed out on. I mean, it's kind of like the game today. If you guys are listening to this before we posted or whatever it is, but Sunday, when I think it was the Chiefs and the Houston Texans, they played. The Houston Texans stunned the Chiefs. And I was like, oh my gosh, the Texans are going to win. But, unlike the Ravens, they fought back, and we'll talk about it in a second, but came back to win it. So it all comes down to, trusting your weapons you have, and they have everything they need. They just need to work it all together. Yeah. It's crazy that Lamar Jackson's never won a playoff game.
To be determined. Well, good luck to the Titans. Congratulations. Ravens, see you next season. Win a playoff game. I'm glad that you mentioned the Chiefs because that's the next one we're going to talk about here. Chiefs and Texans, this game
was honestly crazy.
Beautifully predicted the Chiefs would come back because it was.
But come back in that type of way, 51-31,
5 touchdowns.
I mean, come on. I
remember at one point the announcer was like, "What's the record for consecutive touchdowns possessions?" Because the Chiefs just kept rolling and rolling and rolling. I remember.
Okay, it was like I said, the first quarter, Texans are up 21-0, and then they score another 3, and it's 24-0. And I remember looking at the TV and going, okay, here comes a return off a kickoff. And I forgot what player it was. It started running. And I was like, oh my gosh, this is the fire that gets Kansas City going. And, duly noted, they came back and they scored all 51 of their points after that moment.
Yeah. I believe 41 of those points were unanswered. I think, God, how... I shouldn't ask how because it's number 15 in the pocket for Kansas City. 5 touchdowns.
Yeah, man. Patrick Mahomes. I mean, look, here we go. We got a 17-yard pass from Mahomes. Travis Kelce got a 5-yard pass from Mahomes. Travis Kelce got another 6-yard pass from Mahomes. Another Travis Kelce 5-yard pass. That means Travis Kelce had 3 touchdowns. And this all happened like this. I mean, it was consecutively. It was crazy.
It just seemed like a complete shift in tempo because I remember watching, I was like, oh my God, the Chiefs gave it up again. Oh my God, they're punting. Oh my God, they fumbled it. And then all of a sudden, it's a punt return, and the Texan is running it back, and they hit him, pop the ball up, grab it, and they have beautiful field positioning. And it's just play after play after play. The Chiefs just start locking in more and more, and that's ultimately when they ran away with it. But, wow, it was
a great game.
Marvelous game from Patrick Mahomes.
And, I really hope during that AFC, I want to see both of them go, but it would be, I've talked about it a little bit with my buds, but the first ever Super Bowl was the Packers and the Chiefs, and the Packers won, for the 100th season of the NFL, and that's Super Bowl 54. I mean, that'd be awesome. So,
yeah.
Chiefs, good luck. Wish you the best.
Texans, I mean, I think the only thing...
Look, the Texans need more. They need more weapons around Deshaun Watson.
I think they need a better running game. I'm sorry, I don't know who the running back is for the Texans. The person I see running the ball the most is Deshaun Watson.
Let me see. I'm pretty sure it's Carlos Hyde. I'm not sure at all. Actually, I'm gotta think about this for a second. Yeah, I agree with that. They need. Sorry, no, it's Duke Johnson. And Carlos Hyde. Okay, I was both. Okay. They're all right, but you are a new team in the NFL still, Mm-hmm. Put some more weapons around Deshaun, and you guys can get there. I mean, you guys had a great season. You lost a couple of key games, like against the Broncos. I mean, that was a bona fide win, and you let it go for no reason. So, get together. You can win more. Bill O'Brien, he got this. And I trust that he knows this.
Oh, yeah. Houston's definitely going to be back in that for sure.
I mean, when you think about it, the only person that the Houston has to really worry about for the next couple of years, I mean, if the Titans can hold what they have and everything, it's the Tennessee Titans. Jacksonville, they have to rebuild. The Colts, they have to rebuild a little bit. That whole quarterback situation, Andrew Luck, Jacoby Brissett coming in, he has to grow and learn a little bit more. But Titans and the Texans, that's going to be a rivalry for a couple more years that it's going to be heated, I see, if the Titans can keep what they're doing. So, yeah.
On to...
The craziest game that I thought was honestly crazy was that...
The Seahawks and Packers?
The Seahawks and Packers.
Yeah, I mean...
You hate to see it. And I'm not a big Packer fan, but it's good to see beast mode going in and getting at least 2 touchdowns, which was awesome. But it sucks.
Do you think they're gonna bring back Marshawn Lynch, or do you think that was just for the playoff push?
I don't know. He signed there for a little bit. I would see what happens.
Man, that was. Correct me if I'm. No, man, I'd have been. That's been the closest game today. What was it, like a 5-6 point differential?
Yeah, it looks like 5 points.
23.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well, do you have the stats for that to see what we can?
It all came down to basically Aaron Rodgers coming out and being that game manager.
Oh, I heard the one wide receiver for the Packers, Adams, had himself a game.
Yeah, Devontae Adams. He had a 20-yard pass from Aaron Rodgers. Also a 40-yard pass. And also, when you look at it, the Seahawks, they really relied on Marshawn Lynch and, Lockett. But Devontae Adams, Aaron Jones were the 2 big playmakers for Aaron Rodgers when getting those touchdowns and helping the Packers score this win. I mean, the Packers never, I think, went for a field goal. Never. Yep, they had... Let's see. 4 touchdowns, and the Seahawks had a missed kick, extra point, a field goal, and 3 touchdowns.
So I actually got the Devontae Adams stat line right here, and it's first of all, Devontae Adams set a Packers playoff record for receiving yards in the game. He had 160 receiving yards on 8 receptions.
Jeez.
2 touchdowns. What's the math on that? 8 receptions? How many?
That's crazy.
I know not all runs are the same, but that's... For you to catch the ball 8 times to get 160?
That's crazy.
That's 20 yards of reception, practically. I know it's not all chalked up to that, but think about that.
Jeez. I'm sitting here thinking about it. I mean, the Packers, I didn't even think them going. I mean, the Vikings were stacked. You know what I mean?
You like that?
Yeah. we'll get there. Kirk Cousins. But, Aaron Rodgers is still around. He's still kicking, and, he needs a little bit more weapons around him. You know what I mean? Mike McCarthy, he left. He's with the Cowboys now. Hope he has a good down there. But, it's going to take a while for that coach, the new coach, I forgot who it is now, to get acclimated there. And let's hope they can win a little bit more. Well, Aaron Rodgers only has 1 ring, I think.
Packers, just best of luck going forward. Seahawks, develop Metcalf. Is that his name?
Yeah.
DK Metcalf, develop him.
I think the biggest thing with the 49ers is going to be, the 49ers, Seahawks is going to be that division they're in. You know, the 49ers, the Rams, and them. I'm not going to talk about the Cardinals because they have a little bit longer. That's a very stacked division, and they need to really focus in and hone what they have going on at home. You know, when that 12 rises up, that means something there. And I see them knowing it and doing it better. The whole point of the Seahawks dynasty could be formed off of a pass, not a run. And if they ran the ball there, they would have worked. We're going to take a short break, actually. Okay, cool. All right, we're back here again, talking about all things sports. We talked about the Packers and the Seahawks. And I kind of rambled on about the Seahawks and what they need to do and not do.
We said what we needed to say about that, I believe.
I just have one more thing to say is that Seahawks have a lot of weapons they can use. Russell Wilson, great quarterback. Love him, great guy. Just wait a little bit longer. You guys will get there. So yeah, moving on to the last game of the divisional playoffs.
49ers and the Vikings.
And honestly, I thought this game was going to be a different team. I didn't think the Vikings were going to go anywhere. I thought they were snuffed out by the Saints. But, you know, they came out there and they showed up and they came to the 49ers and shut down. So, that's...
You're going to tell me you're going to beat the frickin' Saints in NOLA and you're going to... Kirk Cousins in the locker room is going to say, I got 3 words for you. You like that? And everyone's going to start cheering. Just come out next week and literally lose all your momentum. I'm not saying it's impossible. You know, it happens. It's just, you know, you'd think a team that just took down the Saints would have more momentum going forward, but...
Then again, you know, the 49ers, honestly, they're one of the best teams in the league right now. Jimmy G, I'm astonished. No discredit to, you know, any of the 49ers, but... the Vikings didn't show up like at all. You know, they had a couple plays here and there. Stephon Diggs, 41-yard pass from Kirk Cousins. I mean, 7-7 first quarter, and then it all went downhill from there. But, you know, no discredit to the 49ers. You guys are really good, and you guys deserve this more than anybody else. It's just that the Vikings blew it, man.
So what you're saying is that you think that the Vikings lost this game instead of the 49ers winning, so to say. Like, you think it was more so the Vikings blew their chances at it rather than the 49ers hard-fought win.
It's like, I don't know. The 49ers are the number 1 seed. Like, we expect them to win. But when the Vikings come in there just beating the Saints, right? All of us, okay, Kirk Cousins can actually go to a game and win it. You know, he can actually perform. And then just to lose in that fast, I just didn't understand it.
It's like the Minnesota Vikings' whole purpose in playoff football is to just ruin every Saints fan's dreams and then just dip out.
I mean, it's like, hey, the Saints, you know, they always ref ball, man. I don't know.
Do you think that the last play were in OT that got the Vikings the win? Do you think that was offensive interference when he pushed off?
Yeah, of course. But, you know, we're not going to talk about that because that's too trivial. Yeah. I don't know, man.
I just think they need to get that consistent. I mean, if you're a tight end and you push off of the person defending you, and the person defending you is much smaller, and it's obvious, like, everyone can see it. I think the refs at that decision, like, this isn't regular season. This isn't preseason. This isn't a game that you can take on the chin and, you know, build up from. This is the playoffs. This is one game elimination, you know.
You know, and I'm sorry to say it, but Drew Brees, you know, we should be talking about the 49ers and the Vikings, but honestly, Drew Brees, I don't know how much longer he has. You know, great quarterback. One of the greatest. He's going to Canton for sure.
Yeah, there's a lot.
But, you know, he had his chance last year. He had his chance the year before that. He had his chance this year.
There's only so many chances you get before you have to start asking the question, hey, okay, we understand the Minneapolis Miracle. Okay, that was insane. It was a complete crumble in the last 7-10 seconds. You know, you live with that. It's an impossible play. Rams and Saints. You know, probably the worst non-call I've ever seen in football. I've been watching for like a year, but that was disgusting. I felt sick for everyone in New Orleans. And then I don't think this year there's an excuse. I think you can say all you want, you know. I know I just said, well, yeah, like refs need to call that, but you could say all you want. Oh, well, that's BS, you know, that's offensive interference. You're the Saints. You have Michael Thomas, you have Drew Brees, you have Alvin Kamara, you have all these weapons at your disposal.
I mean, Jared Cook came from the Raiders and had one of the best seasons.
You have all these tools at your disposal, and you mean to tell me you go into overtime with the Vikings? You don't deserve to win at that point. You don't.
And, you know, it sucks to say, but, you know, the Saints had so many opportunities to get a higher seed, too, you know. Mm-hmm. They had so many weapons. They had so many... I hope next year they figure out the situation, because it really sucks. Like, honestly, they played great. They lost Drew Brees for a couple, and, you know, Teddy Bridgewater,
get paid.
He came out of nowhere and stepped up.
He's gonna get paid.
So, you know, they have a time to develop him, but I don't know. Anyways, back to the Vikings and 49ers. George Kittle, I'm sorry, we gotta talk about it real quick. George Kittle is a tank. I mean, I saw him against the Saints again when 7 defenders were on him, and he's rustling all the way to the field goal line.
He's no Jason Witten, but he's...
Okay, I mean...
No.
Dude,
fucking...
George Kittle, I had him on my fantasy team, so I was always watching his games. Oh my gosh, I had so many fantasy points because of him. He is a tank, and I saw a couple defenders just get on top of him during this game, and he was trugging his way through the line on it. It's great. That guy, he's going to do many things for the 49ers franchise. And, you know...
the same Blue Mountain State.
Yeah.
Darrow and fucking Thad's in practice. And like go down, Thad!
Yeah.
Go down! So in retro and in review, George Kittle is Thad Castle. But, yeah, I mean... Vikings going forward, I think the key is Stephon Diggs. And that key is Stephon Diggs needs to become elite. I mean, I don't think Stephon Diggs is necessarily a bad wideout.
No. See, I think he is elite.
It's all Cousins too.
I think it comes down to the teams they play, and then Kirk Cousins. Kirk Cousins, he's a great football player, don't get him wrong, but, you know, he does need to show out in key games and actually throw to his wide receiver. In that Saints game, he wasn't thrown to Stephon Diggs until, the third quarter? You know, he's your number one wide receiver. Yeah. You need to throw to him. You know, Ben Roethlisberger, AB. That dynamic duo, they won games just because of those two.
Even then, too, you can kind of compare it. They're obviously not to the same level, even though they beat them, but the Saints, you know, I like to say the Saints have a pretty good three-headed monster. They got the running game, the passing game, the receiving game.
No, very well rounded.
You got Mike Thomas, Drew Brees, and Alvin Kamara.
And the defense is not bad.
Yeah, the Vikings, you know, Kirk Cousins isn't no Drew Brees, but you got Kirk Cousins, Stephon Diggs, and Dalvin Cook.
You know, and that man on the Minnesota Vikings, you know. There's just so many factors that play into the downfall or the success of this team.
How is Stephon Diggs' internal investigation on who was dating on the Minnesota Vikings?
I have no idea.
That's cap. I am sniffing cap every time I hear it on the radio. So, I mean... They have the tools, it's just you gotta...
Just put it together.
You gotta use them, you know? You gotta just... You know, I'm not sitting here talking football like I know it a good amount, but...
One day, the Vikings will go to the Super Bowl and win it.
Skull. I mean, you know, you pull so many playoff wins against the Saints out of your ass, and it's like you can't... Just frustrating. It's frustrating to watch. But
I understand.
Other than that, what do we got for matchups next week? We got Chiefs and...
Well, before that, we got to talk about 49ers. 49ers, I hope you guys beat the Packers, and I hope you guys go on. You guys deserve it. You know what I mean? You guys worked hard all season. You guys had the longest, the longest undefeated record in the NFL.
9-0?
I think 9-0.
Who did they lose to? Seahawks, right?
I think it was the Seahawks. So you guys have a chance to go all the way to the Super Bowl. Hopefully, I want to say it now. 49ers, I want to say Titans because, gosh, man, I really want to see Tannehill going.
It's going to be such a game because you have to think about how the Titans have all the momentum.
And
but Mahomes just put up a 5-touchdown game, and you think he's going to slow down?
Do you think Derrick Henry's going to slow down? I mean, come on, look at this.
Derrick Henry.
I'm just going to say it. Titans win the Super Bowl.
You're really slating the Titans to win.
I want the Titans to win. We'll come back next week and talk about how I was wrong. But I really want the Titans to go on. 49ers, Titans. What do you think? Who thinks to be the final two?
I definitely think the 49ers are going to advance. It would be stunning to me if the Packers beat the 49ers. Okay. No disrespect to the Packers, but I just think 49ers have a lock on that.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so you got 49ers from the NFC, and then AFC.
From the AFC,
Chiefs or Titans, man?
I'm picking the Chiefs.
Chiefs? All right, so Chiefs versus 49ers, and who do you think's going to win it all?
Honestly, I think it's Mahomes' time. I think it's his time.
So last year he was the MVP. Do you think he gets Super Bowl MVP?
Yeah, probably. I think, Titans have been amazing, phenomenal. Love them. Love Derrick Henry. He's a freaking vending machine with turbo. He can't be stopped. But there's only so much you can run. You know what I mean? Like there's only so much you can run before it gets desperation time and it becomes a passing game, completions. 4-minute offense. Who are you gonna trust? Ryan Tannehill or Patrick Mahomes? I mean, no disrespect to Ryan Tannehill. I really respect what he's done this season, but I think come next week, playtime's over. Titans have had their fun. I respect them. Chiefs are going to move on. Chiefs versus 49ers, I think they're obviously Jimmy G and Patrick Mahomes' first Super Bowl. Well, technically, Jimmy G's first Super Bowl as a starting QB.
Yeah. Not with the Patriots.
Yeah. I think, they're both going to get bubble guts. They're both going to get nervous. But I ultimately trust Mahomes more. So my pick for the Super Bowl is the Chiefs, and if the Titans beat the Chiefs next week, I am plummeting myself into the sun.
All right, and I just want to correct something. I realized that the other Harbaugh brother does not coach for the 49ers anymore. That's Kyle Shanahan. I was like, I said it and I was like, shit.
We're gonna kind of roll with it.
But yeah, next week we're gonna come back at 1:05 p.m. Titans versus Chiefs. KC is favored to win, and then later on in the evening, 4:40 p.m. Is Packers versus 49ers. This is Mountain State time, so.
And then the week after that, we're gonna go to Cancun. Because we're not doing Pro Bowl coverage.
Actually, I'm really excited for the Pro Bowl. I like to see the skills competition because, it's a fun thing. Fun. But not the actual Pro Bowl. That's... Nah.
But now...
So, yeah, that's Super Bowl. We're moving on to...
To the bread and butter, baby. We're moving on to... the NBA coverage of this.
And for you that don't know what that means, that's the National Basketball Association.
Invented by so-and-so Naismith in Canada.
Can we talk about something real quick?
For football?
No, just in general.
Basketball? Or in general?
If you guys have anything that you guys want us to talk about, besides basketball and the, I guess, football, just let us know for sure. We might bring it up, might not. Just want to know. But... Start us off with basketball. You're a huge Laker fan.
Yes.
And, I look around right now and I see a Lakers jersey, number 23, and we all know that's the God King himself, LeBron James. So we'll start off with your Lakers.
Ooh, okay, so I remember sitting at my grandparents' house on Christmas, and the Lakers had control of the game over the Clippers for a majority of the game. And... that last fourth quarter was just very difficult to watch. I mean, it was tough. And then, of course, during that time, we had that 4-game losing streak, which kind of hurt. But since then, we've won 8 in a row with some very, last night, I believe it was last night, Lakers versus OKC.
Yeah, Saturday the 11th,
yeah.
you guys played the Thunder.
Yeah, for one, I have to make a confession. I was completely wrong about the Oklahoma City Thunder. I had them slated heading into the season 15th through 11th seed.
Why is that? Because you can't think Paul can't do anything?
No. I love Chris Paul. I love Chris Paul to death. I loved him as a Rocket. The trade really honestly surprised me, but what James Harden wants, James Harden gets. But you have to think about it like this. The Thunder were, God, I want to say a 6th seed last year. And what do you know? A Russell Westbrook-led team, another first-round exit. I mean, I don't like Russell Westbrook. I don't. I have a very strong opinion on him.
But he's doing pretty good.
He's doing good. Ever since that 2017 MVP campaign, when KD left, I had no respect for him. Everyone always wants to say, he averaged a triple-double, most triple-doubles in a season, this, and that. That's true. But when your team concedes rebounds to you, lets you get that triple-double. Steven Adams, I forget what it was, but 5 rebounds was like the max he would average. It's no coincidence that the first year Russell Westbrook leaves the Thunder, Steven Adams is averaging double-digit rebounds. Like, come on. I have no respect for being gifted rebounds for the triple-doubles. It's like the same stuff as, last year on the Thunder, where last year, basically, his second season averaging a triple-double back-to-back. He needed like 17 rebounds to lock that in, to average the triple-double for consecutive seasons. What a coincidence, the last game of the season, he gets that mark. Like, it's just, it's a disrespectful to record holders. It's disrespectful to the game.
Yeah, I mean, I can see where you're coming from, but, like, I don't know. He is elite, and that's fact. And, sometimes it sucks. And I understand you're content with it, but, he balls.
Yeah.
And there's no denying that.
I mean, one of my favorite moments that I never thought I would witness was Russell Westbrook getting the 20-20-20 game. I thought that was the craziest stat line of the decade. But I don't know. Anyways, Russell Westbrook and Paul George both get traded. Jeremy Grant gets traded. Thunder are now looking at a 34, 35-year-old Chris Paul who didn't really have too hot of a season his last year with Houston, getting paid max money. And they have a...
Yeah, that contract was horrid.
Yeah. I thought it when they first signed him. I was like, oh Lord.
Oh, I did too, man.
Because Chris Paul's great, but Chris Paul isn't 30 mil, 27 mil.
How old is he now?
Like 35.
Yeah,
34.
his expiration date's coming up, so...
Yeah. But, and they had a boatload of picks. I thought it was rebuild time. I thought it was definitely time they were going to start focusing on the future, but they're in them now. I mean, 7th seed is very impressive considering their situation. But no. So Lakers head into Oklahoma, and no LeBron, no AD, no Danny Green. You have Rajon Rondo and Kyle Kuzma, basically.
Kyle Kuzma, baby. Where's that ball boy at?
Miss Lonzo.
We'll get back to the ball boy in a second.
But Rondo, he actually surprised me. It's been a love-hate relationship with Rajon Rondo on the Lakers, but he surprised me. And then Kuz, wow. Kuz went off for 36 points, shot great from the field, did very rookie year, sophomore year Kuzma things. Kuz hasn't had the most hot season, but he has to adjust to that role. It's not easy when you add a perennial 28-point-per-game scorer and Anthony Davis to the mix. So, yeah, but other than that, the Lakers are doing beautiful. Another team I wanted to mention was the Utah Jazz. because I believe I read a thing where they've won 13 out of the last 14, and they're undefeated ever since adding Jordan Clarkson to the mix.
Well, actually, with the Utah Jazz, they're on a 9-game winning streak. Actually,
Yeah, they have taken third,
which is they're tied actually with the Nuggets.
Yeah.
But with that being said, we'll get back to you real quick. We're just gonna take a quick break. See you in a few.
And we're back. So
I'm sorry, I just gotta cut you off real quick. Because I just gotta bring it up. The Golden State Warriors. I mean, what's their record? 9 and 32?
32. They are currently 2-8 in their last 10, and they have lost 8 in a row now.
And if I'm looking at it correctly, they're last in the Western Division.
Yeah,
I mean,
they're
dead
not last in the league.
last.
They're not last in the league.
That title goes to...
That honor goes to the Atlanta Hawks.
You know, Trae Young, I love him, but the Hawks, man, that's disappointing.
I can't believe Atlanta this season. I mean, I'm looking at this roster, and sure, it isn't sexy. Like, it's not... You have... One of the more notable names is a 42-year-old Vince Carter.
Vince Carter, man, he's played in 3 decades. You believe that? 4. Jeez, I forgot. It's 4 decades.
Yeah.
4 decades now. That's crazy.
You have Trae Young, who's currently averaging 29 points, 4.5 rebounds, and 8 assists.
And this is his sophomore year.
Yeah, this is his second year.
Which is crazy.
You have one of my favorite players in John Collins, who he's averaging 17 points and 10 rebounds. And
wasn't he hurt for a while? Or?
Yeah, he got suspended because he was...
not hurt, suspended.
And then you have notable names like Evan Turner, Cam Reddish, Jabari Parker, Kevin Huerter, Alan Crabb's a sniper, DeAndre Bembry's pretty good. And 8 and 32, I just think they have bad luck. Honestly, like, seeing some teams they've been playing,
Look, you can call that bad luck. But we know the Warriors... and what they are, and you're kidding me? They were the Western Division champions last year,
Western Conference champions of that too, and
they lost. Okay, right? Well, KD left. Clay's out, and maybe it's a time for a rebuild. You got to tank a little bit, but are you kidding me that you have the worst record in the entire Western Division?
Well, I mean,
the Pelicans are the number. They're right above them, 14 and 26.
Yeah, I mean, definitely.
That's abysmal. From the Warriors, we know they can ball.
Yeah, but when you look at it too, okay, Klay Thompson, torn ACL,
which sucks. Speedy recovery. Mm-hmm. Wish you back soon.
Stephen Curry, about 12 games into the season, breaks his left hand. He's out. D'Angelo Russell, been in and out of the lineup. He's been pretty good. He just played, but prior to that, his last game play was December 28th. He's been riddled with injuries this season. So, basically, to sum this Warriors season...
Andre...
No, Andre Iguodala got traded to the Memphis Grizzlies.
Oh, jeez.
But, basically, the sentence to summarize this Warriors season is that it is Draymond Green against the world, and I'm sorry, but Draymond Green...
Look, I had to drop Draymond because he was on my fantasy and he kept giving me negative points.
Draymond, 8.6 points, 6.4 rebounds, 5.6 assists, a steal and a half a game. Solid numbers, but, the question always was, okay, can Draymond Green produce without his 3-2 All-Stars by his side? And I think we've all learned the lesson that he can't. But I think the ultimate irony in all this is that the Warriors are going to have one bad season, get a top lottery pick, trade that or get it, and then next season they're going to have Curry, Klay, D'Angelo, Draymond, and at this point a potential number 1 pick.
Yeah, you hate to see it.
There's rumors of it. Who's to say that they don't use that number 1 pick to trade for Karl Anthony Towns?
Well, here you go. Check this out, right? You look at it. Who had the number 1 pick last year?
New Orleans.
And what have they been doing with that pick?
Well, Zion is close to returning. I know that for a fact. But Zion, I still think Zion was the clear-cut number 1 pick.
Oh, yeah, 100% he was number 1 pick.
I'm just worried to death about his health. I hope to God that Zion Williamson can have a healthy career. He's a high flyer. That's a lot of stress on the knees, a lot of stress on the ankles, that area, the legs. I hope that he has a long and healthy career because he is a talent that puts people in seats, puts views on the internet.
Oh yeah, because the market in New Orleans isn't that big of a market, you know.
But when they got Zion,
everything blew up.
Yeah,
that's crazy.
It does that. But I mean, I don't want to say I'm wrong, because technically I think I would have been right. Before the season started, I said, look, Zion's there, Brandon Ingram, Lonzo Ball, Josh Hart, Drew Holiday, Jackson Hayes, Derek Favors. These are all names. These are all players that can do something.
Well, is JJ Redick in it?
JJ Redick?
Yeah, I mean, they have a lot of talent.
I had this team slated to go into the playoffs. Believe it or not.
Well, I mean, when you look at it, they're 14-26. So, I mean, the West is also very, very keen on switching positions very fast, very quickly. I mean, so they could go up.
Actually, looking at it, they're only about 4.5, 5 games out of the 8th seed. They just gotta buckle down. But I mean, you look at Lonzo Ball; he's been doing pretty good so far. 12 points, 5 rebounds, pretty much 6 assists.
So I mean, I could see the war if the Pelicans do decide, they could get another number 1 draft pick.
Yeah, I mean,
you look at it.
That's a possibility.
You put another one between them, the Pelicans, Hawks, and whoever else
Cavs,
goes in that.
Knicks.
That's a number 1 draft pick that they can throw behind Zion and the rest of that young core that they acquired from the Lakers in that blockbuster trade for Anthony Davis. I mean, the sky's the limit for the Pelicans.
Brandon Ingram, most likely going to be most improved player with 25 points a game, 7 rebounds, 4 assists, a steal.
Which is crazy because last year, Brandon Ingram, I'm going to say it.
It was a love-hate relationship. He tore it up.
He showed out, and then he also didn't show out.
Post-All-Star, Brandon Ingram was finally becoming the player Laker Nation knew he could become. But Brandon Ingram was just stressful to watch,
Now, I'm gonna say this. Would you rather have Kuzma or Lonzo back?
It pains me to say it, but I'd rather keep Kuzma. Not because I think Kuzma's better than Lonzo. I will go to the grave saying that Lonzo is a very valuable player to any team. Okay? He may not shoot well, but, he's starting to click it together. Here's my reasoning as to why I actually wouldn't want Lonzo on this current Lakers squad. Losing Lonzo Ball has enabled LeBron James to fully embrace point guard responsibilities. You take that, and LeBron James is averaging 10.8 assists, most assists in the NBA. We are currently 32-7 in the West, 5 games ahead of any other team. The closest team were 5 games ahead. I think ultimately it was the right move. It was the right move for both situations. Lonzo Ball gets brand new, fresh start in NOLA. Gets to have familiar faces, gets to work with new people, gets to kind of reinvent himself. Doesn't have much of a spotlight as he did before. That's good for some players. And I think we're starting to see the benefits of that. He's beginning to flourish. He's put together a string of multiple good games. And, if he can just be more consistent, honestly, he's going to start rising more and more up to his ceiling. But I want to get to a point to kind of share my personal surprises and my personal disappointments of the season.
Before you get there, though, I just want to say Kyrie returned tonight.
Yeah, I mean...
After a hiatus for a while. And what was the numbers he put up?
Kyrie Irving, in his return back to the sport of basketball... Now, keep in mind, he hasn't played a game since November 14th.
Yeah, I know. I have him on my fantasy. It sucked. I was thinking about trading him away.
Kyrie put up 21 points, 4 rebounds, and 3 assists. I mean, that's good and bad.
Your first game back,
Well, I'm not talking about the stat line. I'm talking about Kyrie Irving coming back.
Oh.
I like Kyrie Irving. I have respect for him. I've always said this, and people used to laugh at me, but I think they're kind of seeing the light of day now. Kyrie Irving's more so a glorified Kemba Walker. I mean, with Kemba, you get the same thing. Even then, too.
Kemba, baby?
If I was running an NBA team, I would rather have Kemba Walker. The
Celtics definitely decided that already.
Yeah, Kemba Walker is a much better leader than Kyrie. much better team presence. Kyrie's a diva. Kyrie's weird. Kyrie's
basically
woke.
Would you say Kyrie's the Antonio Brown of basketball?
Not to that extent. Antonio Brown's fucking crazy. But Kyrie, here's the thing about Kyrie. He is just always changing, right? When he didn't go back to Boston and everyone was Boston. They're mad sports city, they're obviously talking trash to Kyrie, and he made that big rant on Instagram about how it's the sports entertainment and you people don't see real life or whatever. Kyrie, you made a movie about a Pepsi commercial. You literally were an Uncle Drew. You can't sit there and say, you're against the entertainment aspect of the NBA while
also being an entertainment.
Yeah. Literally, that sports are entertainment. You have to embrace that. There's narratives, there's storylines, there's bad blood. It's not all freaking roses and rainbows. It's a grown man's league, and if you get your feelings hurt over a team that thought you spurned them, which you kind of did, I mean, you gotta take the highs as you take the lows. You can't bow out, But Kyrie, that's why I say, it's good and bad for the Brooklyn Nets. I think any team would love to have Kyrie Irving, but once you get Kyrie Irving, you're like, okay, crap. Okay, is he going to be vegan tomorrow? Is he going to shave his head?
I 100% agree. The possibilities of what he could do or not do, things he says, obviously will drastically change what is going to happen on the court and off the court, which obviously will change how your teammates react and how you react.
And you get Kyrie Irving and you get Kevin Durant, that's great, but Kyrie Irving goes out, you have a flower that was blossoming, and his name is Spencer Dinwiddie. Balling out, 23 points per game, multiple assists a game. They may not be winning games, but you'd expect that of a gutted Nets roster.
What do you think? Kyrie, he's obviously going to be there, but KD's going to come back next year.
Mm-hmm.
The star there is KD, 100%.
I think KD's going to...
do you think Kyrie's going to be like when LeBron was there? This going to be good for maybe a couple?
I think KD... I think Kyrie's matured. I think Kyrie now understands that he's probably his second option better.
Well, he better figure it out soon, because KD's going to come, and then it's either you understand what your place is in this role, or you don't, and you're out, and you're gone.
You can't be competing for buckets, The Nets are going to obviously be a top 4 team next season. You just got to hope that everyone buys into what you're trying to do.
Yeah.
And that's that on the Nets. So, back to, is there any other teams you want to talk about, any other players?
I think we're good.
We can move on to the next segment.
I think we can move on to the next segment,
so I am going to give my biggest disappointments and biggest surprises.
All right, let's hear it. I want to hear your biggest disappointments first. Let's see the good for the last.
These are going to be players, not teams.
All right.
Okay, so...
and is this for the week, or basically just in general the season? Okay.
Season in general. Okay, so the biggest disappointment of right now in the current season, the award for biggest disappointment as a player is going to go to Ben Simmons of the 76ers.
Oh, okay.
Ben Simmons right now is averaging 14.9 points, 7.5 rebounds, 8.5 assists, and 2 steals. And you're probably sitting there thinking, well, how the hell is he a disappointment? The fact that is low for him is why he is such a disappointment. You're talking about the first pick in the 2016 draft. Very hyped. Rookie of the year.
Trust the process.
Yeah. Compared to LeBron James. Want to know why he's the biggest disappointment? He won't shoot. He refuses to shoot the ball. I know if you're not the best 3-point shooter.
See, I thought we would have had it. You know what I mean? Over time, you take the shots, you win the points.
He's 2 for 5. He's shooting 40% on 3. It's a small sample size, but We know he can hit them. The fact of the matter is that he's taken 5 threes and we're over 30 games in. Like, it might be on the coach, Brett Brown. You know, you might need to draw up more plays to get Ben Simmons around that 3-point arc. But, dude, you look at the MVP of last season and ultimately my pick for MVP this season, Giannis of the Milwaukee Bucks.
No, don't not look at. For you talk about the MVP for this season.
Yes.
You can't not look at Luka, what he's doing.
Oh, I love Luka Doncic.
You could not disregard what he's doing down in
I'm not disregarding
Dallas.
But there's no reason why Giannis should not win MVP this season. Last season, Bucks were first seed. Giannis averaged career highs in mainly all categories. This season, Giannis statistically is doing better than his MVP season, and the Bucks are on pace for more wins.
Like, yeah, they are. They are the number one in the overall NBA.
I mean, no disrespect to Luka. I love Luka. Luka is amazing.
Oh, we just can't deny that. You know, if it's between Luka and Giannis might win, but Luka's up there, and he will be a talking point for sure.
Definitely. But as I was saying, Giannis is not the world's greatest 3-point shooter. I think we all know that.
Yeah, but he takes the time to actually...
Yeah, he takes the shots.
He has developed such of a personality, a way that he grows from each season.
I think...
And you could look back to when he was first, in the league and what he is now, right?
Like,
he has grown, and you can see that.
Every season. Ben Simmons is plateaued. Like, literally, he is not... I think he's scoring worse this season. He's like 2 points down from last season. Like, I don't get it. I don't understand what they're doing in Philly. But...
Trust the process.
Yeah, like, honestly,
I don't know.
He's my disappointment for this season. My biggest surprise of this season.
And Alex Caruso.
Alex Caruso. Biggest surprise of this season, even though, it's, not really a surprise, but, like you said, Luka Doncic. I knew Luka Doncic was destined to be the guy in Dallas.
Yeah.
I thought, okay, he averaged 20, 21 points last season. You get Kristaps Porzingis, come on. Luka's going to average 22 points, 10 assists, and 7 rebounds, 6 rebounds. You add Kristaps Porzingis, and you're averaging 29 points, 9.7 rebounds, and 9 assists. You are in a situation where your numbers are supposed to take a dip because you're adding such a great offensive talent, and yet you rise past expectations. Plus, too, the Mavericks are currently the 6th seed in the West, and
yeah, man, they're doing good shit.
6 through 2 is free game. Oklahoma City isn't going to take 6th, so the Mavericks are most likely going to make playoffs. It's just been surprising. I had the Dallas Mavericks marked up high. I had them making the 8th seed, but they've been really good this season. Really good. It's players around Luka. It's Luka elevating the players. It's beautiful basketball to watch. You have players on Dallas like Seth Curry coming back, Tim Hardaway kind of finding his footing, Maxi Kleber, starting to perform better and better. DeLon Wright was a great signing by them. I just look at this team and I see a bunch of quality players, but they're doing so much better because of Luka, and that's why he's my biggest surprise of the season. Now, my pick for MVP, I've already said, is Giannis of the Milwaukee Bucks. I think there's no reason as to why he shouldn't win MVP with, the season he's having. But other than that, my way too early title prediction, I'm going to have to go with the Lakers. I'm not...
I understand, man.
It's biased, but second best record in the league. They're undefeated.
A great duo.
They're undefeated against teams that are below 500. I think the Clippers are 7-6 in their past string of games, but the biggest threat to the Lakers is the Clippers. And I think once the Lakers are in mid-season form, or almost to the ending of the regular season, they're going to be locked in. And, praying for a healthy season, I got a Los Angeles Lakers and Milwaukee Bucks finals, and I got the Lakers winning. But if Milwaukee won, I really couldn't be mad. It's the best case scenario.
All right.
So I mean, if you have any, I'd love to hear. Who's been kind of disappointing to you, or who's surprised you. Like, it could be a team, it can be a player, it can be really anything. Your MVP, or who do you think is going to win the title?
Yeah, all right. Now on to, forgot to bring it up in the football segment, but what we have next is basically we're going to talk something about the college football playoff. And, that's coming up tomorrow. LSU versus Clemson. Clemson, the defending national champs, versus LSU, who was a complete surprise this season. We all thought Alabama was going to come back, and they beat Alabama. And that's going to be a good game. I expect Joe Burrow to come out, really come out and play.
I think ever since Joe Burrow on national television had his pants pulled down and his ass exposed to the camera, he's become a different man. And it's been seen. I mean, when 9 touchdowns.
When you're going to be the number one pick, and you're going to the Bungles.
When you're going to be the franchise QB of the Cincinnati Bengals for 5 seasons.
No, not the Bengals, the Bungles. The Bungles.
For 5 seasons and 3 requests to trade, and you get traded to the Dallas Cowboys.
Yeah. I mean, I want to see Trevor Lawrence also.
Clemson QB?
Yeah, that's going to be a good game. Like I said, let's see what happens. I'm going to say it now. I want Clemson to defend, and I hope they do. They are undefeated. Everyone was against them the entire year. Alabama was predicted above them. Alabama lost. They were still underneath them. Nobody gave Clemson their due this year, and they have something to prove. That they want it and they need it. Like you say, you can also say LSU, they want it more than Clemson, and that they need to win as well. But, it's going to be a good game. Who do you see taking home the national championship?
I mean, you got to roll with the hot hand. I honestly believe Joe Burrow is going to complete a storybook season. I think, he's going to just absolutely dominate. And then, like I said, once it comes to NFL.
Like I said, he even if he loses or wins, he is bona fide number one pick. No,
oh, yeah.
For sure. There's no denying that. But it's going to be a good game no matter what.
Just what I can say, Joe, if you're listening.
Yeah. Joe, I know you are one listener, and you're the one person that follows us. We haven't even started this yet, and I know you're following it.
Joe. Enjoy it while you can, brother.
Amen, brother.
You got a tall task ahead of you in Cincinnati.
Yeah. You feel me?
Those orange jerseys with the stripes are pretty nice. Maybe they'll...
Maybe you'll have black and yellow, and you'll be the next quarterback of the Pittsburgh Steelers, baby.
Maybe Cincinnati will say, screw it. We're going all in. They'll sign Antonio Brown.
Jeez.
And Cincinnati will finish...
Hugh Jackson will be the head coach.
Cincinnati will finish 6-10. That's modest. That's generous, 6-10. But yeah, I mean, other than that, excited. Good sports on. You think I got nothing else?
I think we might have the name of our podcast. Sports. Athletics. Something like that.
I don't know what you're doing.
It was just something. I'm just talking.
Yeah.
All right,
we'll figure it out.
It's been an honor, everyone. We'll catch you back here next Sunday.
This is going to be like a weekly thing, huh?
I think so, yeah.
Every Sunday.
All right, well, it's been a pleasure.
Unless some crazy stuff happens.
Oh, guys, we have breaking news, actually. We just received reports that Julian Edelman, the famed wide receiver of the New England Patriots, has been arrested. No, I'm being serious.
He was jumping on a Mercedes and caused damages.
Yeah, Vandalism in California. You love to see it. These dang wide receivers, man. Just play the ball. Play the game. Do your job. No, I'm just playing. But, yeah, man, it's going to be a fun ride. We'll see you guys next Sunday. Like I said, I'm Blake.
I'm Cam.
And we'll catch you on the next one. Peace.